Anne Mathu got married to a white man purposely so that this man can die so that he can inherit the property. I hope you are getting this thing very clearly because I don't want to repeat it. Anne Mathu, a Kenyan woman, a real Kenyan woman, this is a real person in Kenya, woman, got married to a white man, a real person, just don't want to mention his name, so that she can inherit his property worth millions of shillings. But what happened? This man did not die as expected, and therefore Anne Mathu feels like she did not achieve her dream so that she can get his property. And when that story came out on, I think it's Spice FM or which FM, I'm not very sure, but when Anne Mathu spoke about that thing on radio, I saw a lot of people laughing at it and then making jokes about it. And then it looks like this is just another joke. It is not a joke. In Kenya, a lot of Kenyan women have been ending the lives of white men so that they can inherit the property. And I don't know why white men don't learn. These white old men who come to Kenya to marry Kenyan women, I don't know why they don't learn that the aim of many Kenyan women is to end the lives, by the way, of old white men so that they can inherit the property. And we have a lot of examples. One of the examples I will share here is the Tob Cohen story. I'm sharing the Tob Cohen story because it is one of the most high-profile and dramatic criminal investigations that have been done in our times. And we can witness that these people, you cannot just trust them when you marry them. Now, before we talk about Wairimu, let's talk about Tob Cohen. Tob Cohen used to live in Netherlands, and he had married a wife. And sadly, the first wife passed away, unfortunately. Sorry for him. And so he thought that, what do I do? He said, let me marry another woman. And so when he was still in the Netherlands, he married a Dutch woman, a white woman, right? So when he married that woman, he came to do business in Kenya. And he lived in Kenya for 30 good years. You can imagine living in a place for 30 good years, making your investments there, making your money there. And so he became a billionaire by Kenyan standards. And he made a lot of money locally. And so what did he do? He told his wife that let us relocate to Kenya because I have a lot of investments there. I have made a lot of progress in that country. Let's go and stay there. But this Dutch woman in the Netherlands said, no, I cannot come to Kenya. I want to stay in the Netherlands. And so the second marriage ended in divorce. And I understand that divorce because Tob Cohen wanted to stay where he had invested. He had, by the way, he had a home worth over 500 million Kenya shillings. And in the Netherlands, I don't think if he had that property of that amount, okay? But the wife felt like she would not progress in this country. So I understand the circumstances surrounding the divorce. Now, what does Tob Cohen do? Tob Cohen says that now that I have divorced, and I have a very good home, and I have property worth billions, and I have acquired a lot. Now I need a woman so that in my old age, she can support me. And I want to marry an energetic woman. So what does Tob Cohen do? He marries Wairimu. Big mistake. Big mistake. You know, we live in Kenya, and we know some things some of these white men don't know. He goes ahead and marries Wairimu. Now, when he marries Wairimu, he marries her out of love. I love you, Wairimu. Come, let's stay together. You will be my wife. I will be with you until I die. Of course, natural death, not the death of being ended by you, but I love you because I want us to live together in peace. Now, what does Wairimu tell herself? Jackpot. I have hit a jackpot. I am coming so that you better die early. You better die early because that property is very expensive. So you better die early. I'm just imagining what happened during that time. So these people start staying together. Tob Cohen and Wairimu. They start staying together very peacefully. Now, Wairimu feels like the process is really going very slow. This guy, this healthy, he's continuing to live long. Why are you living long? So violence starts in that marriage. And so she starts beating this man. You know, when a man is old and is frail, a woman can beat him. So this man is beaten, he's assaulted. This woman is inflicting harm. Okay? And so what does Tob Cohen do? Tob Cohen starts going to a police station to report Wairimu. Wairimu is beating me. Wairimu is hurting me. There were even injuries he was showing the police officers, and he was given P3 forms to show and to confirm that he had been assaulted at home. But remember, he's obtaining P3 forms, he's showing his injuries, he's reporting these cases, he's taking the legal route, but he still goes back to the same house where his wife is living, and they continue living together. This woman continues assaulting him. Now, fast forward. Wairimu notices that this man could leave me. This man who has started going to report me to the police station. This man who is obtaining P3 forms. I'm assaulting him. I'm trying to help him to disappear. But he's reporting me to the police station. Let me help him disappear. And out of the blues, in 2019, Cohen disappears. Cohen disappears. And you know, when a husband and wife are living together and the husband is not there, of course the logical thing is to ask the wife, where is your husband? And so people used to ask Wairimu, where is your husband? The logical answer, or the most justifiable answer that Wairimu should have provided is, I don't know where my husband went. That's the right answer. But again, she used to provide false information that my husband traveled, Now, you are saying your husband traveled and you are not sure where he traveled to. Where is your husband? My husband traveled and he went to this and this destination. And so things go calm. Now, this country has one of the best investigative agencies, Directorate of Criminal Investigation, but only if you have money. You know, DCI doesn't work when you are poor. When you are poor in most cases, and your case does not involve a lot of money, you see, in most cases, a lot of you will not be investigated. A lot of you will just be told, just go there because you are poor. But this is a billionaire. This man has disappeared. So how does the case start? DCI raid the home of this woman, because asking her where the man is, she says he traveled. If your husband traveled, why are you not communicating to him? You are just saying that he traveled. DCI raid the home. And when they raid the home, fast forward, they find the body of this man under a septic tank. Now, this is what you need to know. This is how they discover that the man died. Now, this is where it is being discovered that the man died. How did he die? One of the very saddest stories. The man was hit on the head until he fractured his skull. And you can be sure that when there is a fractured skull, there is internal bleeding in the brain. You can't survive. Then the men who beat this man, they went to the ribs. They broke these ribs. You know, when they break your ribs are bones and they are sharp. They can puncture the heart, and you know, you cannot survive. And these men who beat him inflicted a lot of injuries on his body. He had a lot of wounds, and then they tied this man, then they blindfolded him. Now, there was no CCTV to show how this man was beaten up, but I can tell you that he was tortured. The first thing, which I'm very sure they did, was to blindfold him. The second thing was to tie him, and then the third thing was now to beat him properly. They beat him in the head, they beat him all over the body, they fracture the bones, they make sure that this man is totally nothing. And after beating him, what do? You see, if it is just normal killers would have taken this body to places like Rivayala, where I come from. A lot of bodies are thrown there when people are murdered and then their lives are ended there. So these people would have taken that body to a river somewhere, or maybe to a forest somewhere. But where is this body taken? This body is taken to his own compound. The wife said he traveled, right? So he traveled. And then it is put under a septic tank. The life of this man has ended like that. And let's end that story there. But I'm not saying that she killed the husband. This is a matter that is still ongoing. And the reason why this matter is still ongoing, by the way, is because of the web of lies that are surrounding this case. By the way, because there's a case where the judge helped her to get out. A judge, imagine a high court judge that you expect to provide justice. This is the same judge who helped Wairimu to formulate fake police statements so that she can be free. You see, there's a lot of web of lies there. And then, if she's innocent, she had sworn false affidavits in court. You see, so she's in court trying to do some kind of things here and there. You see, there's a lot that happened in court that I cannot speak about on this camera. But what we can just say is that all the evidence, the DPP, the current DPP now, is the one who is actively handling this case, and all the evidence points to Wairimu ending the life of Tob Cohen. So, though the matter is still under investigation, but now we can see what is happening. Now, based on this story, I don't know why white men, especially these Dutch white men, are not learning that getting married to a Kenyan woman is risky. It's not something you can say that you have won a jackpot. Because another Dutchman also experienced the same, a Dutch billionaire. This is a man now who lived in Coast, and he had come to Coast with a lot of money, and he had invested in multi-million properties. This was a billionaire by Kenyan standards, Herman, when he came to Kenya. Now, he's in Kenya, and you know that when these Dutch men, old men, come to Kenya, usually their wives in those foreign countries, be it Italy, be it UK, be it the Netherlands, these white women usually don't like coming to Kenya. And therefore, when they are old, they can decide that let me leave some property to my wife there, then let me marry a local woman. Believing that, you know, that's a belief of most men, that when I marry a woman who does not have property, a woman who does not have a lot of things, that now she will submit to me. Shock on you. She will end your life. So Herman came to Kenya, and what does he do? He thinks that let me marry a local woman so that that woman can take care of me in my old age. And in his errands, he meets a lady called Riziki. And then he marries Riziki. And then they start staying together. Now, Riziki is getting married to him, just like Mathu said, that I got married to him purposely so that he can die and I can inherit his property. Now, Riziki is getting married to Herman so that she can inherit all this property, multi-billion property that he has when he dies. But this man does not die as expected. In fact, this man is very healthy and he's running out. Herman is very healthy, running up and down along the coast, monitoring his property. Now, what does Riziki do? Because Riziki feels that this man should die faster. Why is he living long? Why is he healthy? Let me plan something and end the life of this man. So one day, and by the way, when you are a tycoon like Herman, you don't walk alone. You walk with a security guard. Or when you are at home, you have a security guard. And so Herman had a security guard called Evans. So Herman and Evans were just on their normal day doing their normal things, Herman monitoring his property and Evans providing security. Now, what happened? Riziki met some hitmen. He made some hitmen and told them that that man has a lot of property. I want that property. I wanted the health of that man to deteriorate so that I can take that property. But the health of that man has not deteriorated the way I want. Now what you do, go and end his life so that I can remain with all these things. And these men did not waste a lot of time. They came for Herman, they tied him up, they beat him up, they ended his life. In fact, just like they did to Tob Cohen, they tied him up, okay? And then they beat him up severely. That's when I noticed that in this country, when people decide to send killers to finish you, my friend, those killers have no mercy. As long as they are paid, they will do their job and your life will end. There are so many cases in our home, especially in Wangaland. I don't want to speak about that because in this video, I'm just talking about white men and Kenyan women. So the life of Herman is just ended like that. And you know, by the way, Evans also was killed in the process. So Herman was not killed alone. Evans was killed. And you know, when the wife was asked, because just like the Tob Cohen story, the first thing to do when a husband dies, and you know these ones were very stupid, they take the man again to his home. You see, and this is why I usually say, there is no crime that is perfect. That is what they usually say. There must be traces somewhere where suspects will be found. And that is why we have the Directorate of Criminal Investigations. Because you cannot kill someone and then go scot-free. In the process of ending the life of this person, along the way, you must do some mistakes, okay? There are always some mistakes. Of course, there are some that are very highly coordinated and they are done efficiently. And I believe those ones are done, by the way, by these people who have learned security. That one is not for a normal person. But these just normal attackers who are just coming and ending the lives of people, they do it in a very shoddy manner. So just like Tob Cohen, this man who killed Herman, take Herman to his home. And what does DCI do? DCI establishes that it is this woman who met this man, and then they planned to end the life of this man because of this property. And we have several other examples. Now let's look at this. The case of Mathu did not succeed, and Mathu is free now to talk about it. You know, she's talking about it because it did not succeed. She's free because this thing did not succeed, right? And she's talking about it in a very joking manner, and people are laughing about it. They are forgetting that we have other women, and I have provided examples of 2 who have ended the lives of white men over property. Now, how many white men will continue being killed so that their property can be inherited by young Kenyan women? I am not saying that all Kenyan women do that. And so, Kenyan women, please don't come for me. There are several cases of people who have gotten married to old white men. I don't know if it's out of love. Can you marry a very old, frail man out of love? Surely. Let's be honest. A man in his 70s, very old. You are like a caretaker, right? And when you go there and you are a Christian, you've been married, of course, for the benefit financially. Let's not lie to ourselves that you are going there because of love. You are a sharp girl. You are going there because of money. But at least take good care of this man until the time when he dies naturally, so that the inheritance can be seamless. Don't facilitate the process. You also have a life to live. Why do you want him to die faster? We've seen these cases. And of course, I've not talked about those ones who have lived for long. We have Kenyan women. I don't want to mention names, but we have Kenyan women who have lived with their white men in this country, and they are still living very well, including one of our artists who lives with a white man. But the rest, especially when you are marrying, I don't want to mention a lot of things, especially when you are marrying a Kenyan lady from somewhere, and you are a white man, and you have property, this lady is going to end your life. And I hope that this video reaches Dutch men, especially Dutch billionaires who come to Kenya and they want to establish businesses. You want to put up hotels. Maybe you are coming as a corporate executive. You are a CEO like Tob Cohen. Maybe you are coming to Kenya with money that you acquired from the Netherlands, and you are coming here to establish a home in this country. Please, I recommend that you come with a wife from wherever you are coming from. And if you come to this country, be very careful with the way you select Kenyan women, because it does not mean that all Kenyan women are bad, but the process of selecting that woman should be very calculated, because a lot of ladies want white old men. A lot. I can guarantee you a lot of Kenyan ladies want white old men purposely so that they can take that property. And so if you are a white man watching this video from the Netherlands, from Italy, or from anywhere, and you want to come to Kenya, especially in the coast region or in Nairobi, or maybe in the central Kenya region, be very careful, because there are Kenyan women roaming around looking for you. In fact, you are not the one looking for them. You know, you think because you are a man and you have resources that you are the one who is coming to exploit. No, these ladies have mastered the game, and they are the ones who will exploit you. When you come here, be very careful. And to our Kenyan ladies, please, when you find a rich man, because we know you are suffering economically, we know you are challenged financially. When you get a white old man, do like one of our artists did. One of our, I don't want to mention her name, she became a billionaire through that, okay? Just find yourself a white old man, take as much money as you can when he's still alive, and then maybe get some kids with him, just like the way one of our ladies did. Get some kids with him so that he is the father. He can see his blood through you. And through that, this man will give you property. This man will entrust you with some of his millions. Because you have nothing. This man is a billionaire. This man will entrust you with at least some 100 millions or maybe a billion if you are a good woman, just like one of our Kenyan ladies has been entrusted, right? But you are going there with the aim of ending his life. You have a life to live. When this man is 70 and you are 40, you still have 30 years to be a very active person, okay? When he's 70, he will reach 80 years and he's frail. He's very old. You know, 80, 90, those are very old men. Just stay and wait. Kindly wait. What is so difficult with waiting? Why do you have to talk to hitmen and these murderers? Why do you have to talk to them? Kindly wait. Exercise some patience so that this man can go and die a natural death and seamlessly inherit his property. Just like one of our Kenyan ladies from the same place where Wairimu comes from, she married a top CEO in this country, knowing very well that this man is very weak, he is suffering from an autoimmune condition, and then she knew that this man will die, and then I will do what? I will inherit. And you know, people make fun of single mothers. She was a single mother, and so she was a sharp girl. She knew that this one, he's a billionaire. This man has a lot of billions, but his health, it looks like he will not live long. And she decides to get married. Top CEO, earning one of the highest salaries in this country, millions of shillings. She gets married, and this man went, and when he started getting frail and going to the grave, I'm sure this girl started now celebrating, and I'm sure other ladies started envying him. Your husband is a millionaire. He's now dying, and you are at an advantage. You see, when the husband is rich and is dying, these ladies usually start celebrating. And that top British CEO died. And when he died, this lady just went and inherited his property. And now this lady is now rich. Why? Because she inherited the property of that man. You see, just wait, be patient, because natural causes are coming and they will just take this man. But that is not a guarantee. You could be waiting and those natural causes will come and they will consume you before they consume him. Like there's a Kenyan lady. There's a Kenyan lady who got married to a white man, hoping that this man will die and she can inherit the property. But instead, it is this girl who died first. The man got married at 75, and the lady was 32. So when this lady went there and she got married to him, she got pregnant, and then she experienced birth complications, and at 33 she was dying, now with a marriage certificate. So this man is very old and very weak, but in the funeral he's standing there and the young wife is in the coffin. They are taking her to the grave. So don't always expect that this man will die earlier than you, but in most cases, kindly wait. But for Dutch men, for rich white tycoons, I can openly tell you, remain single or hire workers, or you can remain with your wife that you have in the Netherlands, or you can still travel there. But again, this life is not guaranteed. There is no formula to living a very healthy life. There is no formula to escape death, because when death comes, it can come in any form. So do not expect that you will prevent death. When death decides to come, if it is through your wife or through maybe any other form, it will come and find you. Thank you for listening to me. This is Gidi Akali, and we shall meet again in another video. Peace.